Hey guys, welcome back. So today we're back as usual on our MR2. We're on the baby Ferrari, the red MR2 Project RUSToration. And as usual, we got more rust we gotta deal with. So today I'm cleaning up behind the dashboard. There's a lot of rust on that bar. So let me show you what's going on and let's jump right into it and let's get this car looking even better another week around. Okay guys, so here's what we're working with. We are trying to get this bar behind the dashboard. So last video we took the dashboard out and you know, honestly I thought that was gonna be it, but then I looked at this bar right here and it's rusted. Every time I touch it, it just, you know, there's rust all over your hands, and I figured while I'm in there, this is a good opportunity to kind of remove this bar and get it painted and then reinstalled. So, you know, you've probably heard me say this on the channel before, when you're doing restoration, every little piece makes a difference. So I think this is one of those pieces that will definitely make a difference. So I'm going to go ahead and take this out. Just off the cuff, as you can see, we have two bolts over here that are holding that bracket in place, or the bar in place I should say. So one on the top, one on the bottom. Moving under the glove, we see we have two bolts. So that's right there holding those connectors in place. So we're gonna pull that, and then we're coming across. I can pull this bolt, which holds the bracket that goes down to the tunnel, which are these two bolts right here. And I think those are optional. You probably could just get these two out and you should be able to lift this thing up, but you know, I'm gonna go ahead and pull everything because again, when I'm painting it, I probably want it apart anyways. And then right in this section, I took this out already, but let me show you. We basically had this vent that was in here, and those Phillips that you see, those Phillips head screws, they were bolted down through this bracket right here. So I went ahead and took that off. It just basically lifts up out of the vent area right there. And coming across, we have one bolt up here on the firewall. We got 3 bolts on the driver's side, as you can see. One here, and one here. And then the steering column, when I took the dash out, I took 2 bolts down, or 2 nuts I should say. And let me try to get underneath there. So we have this one, and then on the back, if I go further on the back, I'll try to have to get a better angle. I'll go under the dash and show you in a second. But we have that bolt. We have the second bolt, this one. All right. So I'm gonna pull those two, and then we're gonna go further back. I'll take you under the dash in a second, and I'll show you. But there are 2 more bolts in the back, and if we pull those, then we can literally get this entire steering column. This guy right here, we can get it all the way kind of to the floor somewhat. And the reason why you have to pull that, and I'll show you once I get under the dash, is, you know, really there is another bolt that's hidden underneath there that you got to get out before this thing can come out. But I think that's going to be it. Obviously we have this little bracket right here. It's bolted here, it's one bolt there, and you got to pull that as well. Now there are a couple of pieces that are attached to the bar, and I'm going to go through that. But let me show you those 2 bolts in the back of the steering rack first, and then we'll move on to the rest. Alright, tough angle, but that's the bolt for the steering rack. This one right here. So there's one on either side. I don't know if I can get the angle, but you guys get the basic idea. So you'd pull that one, which is right about, let's see, there. And then you'll come back up, and you're gonna pull this one as well. So 4 bolts, and this whole steering rack will come down. So you guys will see me do that. And then we have, just looking in the back here, we have that little blue control box that just slips off the bracket. And we have this brown control box, and I don't know what these boxes do right now, but that has a 10mm bolt securing it. We have this wire harness that you're looking at with the purple tape. So I basically just cut the tape just to drop the harness. because I was having a hard time getting that connector out of the bar, and I figured I didn't want to break it, so I'll just re-tape it. So you just kind of disconnect whatever is attached to the bar. This connector is plugged into this thing here. I decided not to pull this thing out. I don't know what it does, but I just unplugged it, and we'll tape that up when we paint. Speedo cable, that will remain up here, so we'll keep it so when we put it in, it's not stuck under the bar, it's above the bar. Coming across, we got this little box here by the ignition, slips onto this bracket. I'll just slip that off because this entire piece is going to come out. And then we got this connector right here. It's secured by a 10mm bolt, so we'll pull that. We'll pull it off to the side. And honestly guys, I think that's it. These are the wires for the flasher and I believe the cigarette lighter. So again, we're going to tape those on the glass up here, so that way, you know, I know what is above the bar and what needs to be below the bar. For example, this one is below the bar through here, this one is above. So I want to get the right orientation so when the dash goes and everything is in place. But that's what I'm going to do today. This bracket on the driver's side has 2 bolts as well. And I think that's it. Once we pull those, we should be able to get this bar out. I'll take it out, I'll use a wire wheel, throw some paint on it, throw it back in here. And small project, but hey, I think it's worth it. You know, and then I'll just kind of go through this dash and see what in here needs to be cleaned up, what looks bad, check out the firewall real good. I might change the evaporator core while I'm at it, but you know, the reality is I gotta get this body fixed first before I spend any more money on this car. But yeah, hope you guys appreciate what I'm doing here. So let me get to work and I'll get this bracket out. I'll give everybody a wider angle. So this is the dash area and basically that rusted bar running across the firewall. That's what we're going to take out right now. So I just got to get to, most of it is 10mm, 12mm and the 14mm bolts for the steering rack. Outside of that, nothing too complicated. Alright, so I pulled most of the bolts, so all the bolts on the bar are basically pulled. Now I just got to deal with the steering rack, so I'm going to pull those 4 bolts, drop the steering rack, then I'll show you there's a last bolt, or hopefully a last bolt that's underneath the rack here that I got to pull. And then besides that, we just got to remove all these little connectors, so slip this little blue box off, just leave it hanging, take this 10mm nut off of this bracket, just going to leave this hanging. And I could probably just leave my little nut right here, so I remember this is loose. And we'll get this is pulled off already. I'm gonna pull this bolt, this one here, we'll pull this one, get this bracket off. Alright, and this should just swing off here. So now all I gotta do is get the rack down, so let me pull the 4 bolts and we'll see that hidden nut on the bottom. So like all these projects, there's always this one bolt or nut that's, you know, going to get you. So this one is the bolt that bolts this bracket down to the tunnel, and you know, I'm pulling that right there. Make that 2, so there's a second one on the driver's side. There's only 1 on the passenger side, but there's 2 on the driver's side, so we got to pull both of those. So as you can see, I pulled one already. I'll drop the second one that's showing right there. So I pulled that, so I should be able to get this bracket loose. There you go. Figure this is a better time to tape these wires up and then go pull the rack, because once I start pulling the rack, then it's time to just remove the bar. So there you go. Alright, let's get to the steering rack. So now we're going to pull the bolt in the back. So this is one on the right side of the steering. I just pulled the other one, which is on the left side. So those are the rear ones, and now we're gonna pull the ones in the front. And you can see the steering rack, look, moving. So that will get it down, and I can get to that bolt underneath. Time to pull this one, time to pull the one on the other side, drop the rack. Drop the steering rack, and this is definitely the way I'm gonna put the dash in. As a matter of fact, this is probably the way you should take the dash out, because it's a no-brainer when you drop the steering rack like this. As you can see, nothing is compromised, all the wires, nothing is really pulling on anything. So definitely this is the way to go, and just rest it on the seat. And we found our hidden bolt, so there it is, right in between the steering column right here. Hopefully you guys can see that. So that guy right there, we're gonna pull it, and I think the bar should be free to go, and we just slip it out, get some painting done. So not a lot of work for hopefully what's gonna look really nice in this car. Of course, there's always another bolt. So right here, if you look on this bracket, there's actually another bolt. It's hidden back here. So if you look behind this bracket, let me see if I can get to it. There's actually, see that one on the right? So there are two, one bolt, one nut. Let's see if I can point you to this one and this one over here. So there is actually 4 of them on the driver's side. And then the other thing I realized, I have to pull these springs that hold the brake pedal and the clutch pedal. So this and this one. So you gotta pull those springs, and the bar feels loose. So I think we are right there. I'm gonna attempt to film this and remove this bar one-handed. I don't have our camera crew today, so it's just gonna be me. But I'm just gonna grab this bar, I pull it out of here first, and basically I'm just gonna slip it out this way, and that's it. You just gotta move it. It's hard to film, guys, but basically that's how you take it out. So just pull those bolts, slip it out, and get this rust out of here. We're gonna go paint it up now. So if you like working on cars, this is a pretty nice weekend project. If your dash is out, obviously, because you wouldn't go through all the trouble to remove your dash just to do this. But there it is, it's out. And it really gives you a good look into this dash. So we'll look at it further. If anybody wants to see what's under here, figure something out, let me know. You can throw a video up since the dash is out. It's a rare opportunity you get to see these cars fully pulled apart, at least for me. And here is our bar. So as you can see, the bottom, that's what it really should look like. But this is steel, so it will rust. Yeah, we'll get all that ground down and looking much better. Okay guys, so let's look at the final product. Everything was painted and reinstalled, and there you have the new look. I think it just makes a huge difference. Look at that, so clean. You know, it doesn't look like an old 30-year-old car, which it is. But anyways, I got the bar painted silver. I kind of like just what I had in stock. I didn't want to go buy more paint, so I think the silver looks really nice. Again, this will all get covered up. I did paint the steering rack a little bit in black, just to kind of hide some of that rust as well. It's kind of intricate to get that painted, but there you go. So just a few bolts and this thing comes right out. Again, if you have your dash, it's worth going the extra mile. I did clean up these vents, so now they're looking much better. And the steering wheel cleaned up really nice. So, you know, we'll just kind of work with small achievements for now. I cleaned up the wiring in here. That thing was covered in dust, the module. So all in all, nice little project. Enjoy doing this weekend. So I'll see you guys hopefully next week. So guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was a short project, very small project for today, but I think it makes a big difference. I'm very happy I went ahead and did it. Initially I was like, maybe it's overkill, it's gonna get covered up under the dash, but if you do have your dashboard out, I think while you're at it, just go ahead and get that bar out, get it painted. I assume most of them are rusted at this point, the car being so old. So just a nice little project for today. More to come on this car. Again, I'm really hoping the body shop takes this pretty soon. If not, honestly, I'm going to try to do it myself. So we'll see what happens. But I got to get this car going. It has to start driving because I need to get the 2GR build going. But I'll catch you guys on the next one. Have a great weekend.